If you've been feeling stuck lately, I want you to hear this. You're not lazy. You're not broken. But something may be quietly running your life without you realizing it. That something is fear. Not the loud, dramatic kind. Not the kind that screams when there's danger. I'm talking about the subtle fear. The quiet fear. The kind that disguises itself as logic, responsibility, or just being realistic. Most of us think we're making our own decisions, but if it doesn't feel right, that's a clue. Fear can quietly guide our choices without us even realizing it. This video is about noticing where fear has been leading your decisions and start to shift into doing what feels right for you. Fear can look differently in different situations. Sometimes it looks like overthinking. You replay the same decision over and over in your head. You research, you plan, you wait. You tell yourself you just need a little more clarity before you move, but clarity never quite comes. Sometimes fear looks like bad timing. You tell yourself, now isn't the right time. Maybe next month, after things settle down, when I feel more confident. So you wait. And while you're waiting, life keeps moving. And the longer you wait without taking action, know that you made a choice. You made a choice to accept things as they are, even if you don't agree with it. Fear also keeps you in places you've outgrown, in jobs that drain you, in relationships that quietly shrink you, in environments where you feel small, unseen, or heavy. You tell yourself, it's not that bad. You focus on the good parts. You minimize the discomfort, because leaving feels uncertain, and uncertainty feels unsafe. Fear convinces you that familiar discomfort is better than unfamiliar possibility. As humans, our brains always wants to keep us safe, and feeling safe feels like what's familiar to us, good or bad. So even if we want something good, like leaving a toxic relationship, if living outside of toxicity is unfamiliar to us, we hesitate to change. Tony Robbins said, change happens when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. Let that sink in. Fear also shows up when you scroll social media and feel behind, like everyone else had figured something out that you missed. You wonder, when is it going to be my turn? Fear shows up when you avoid hard conversations, when you've spoken up before but got met with criticism. They put you down for speaking your truth. You were made to feel like you were in the wrong, so you become afraid to speak up. You swallow your truth just to keep the peace. Fear also shows up when you dream big, but keep those dreams to yourself. When you say, one day I'll start, one day I'll try, one day I'll go for it, but that day keeps moving further away, and slowly, without realizing it, you start playing small. Not because you lack talent, not because you lack intelligence, but because fear has been driving your decisions. I know this because I've lived it. There was a season in my life where I looked fine on the outside. I was functioning, showing up, doing what I felt I was supposed to do, doing what I felt I could do, but internally I felt stuck. I told myself I just needed more preparation, more support, more certainty. But you want to know what it really was? I was afraid. Afraid of failing, afraid of being judged, afraid of making the wrong move and regretting it. So I stayed where it was comfortable, even when it was quietly costing me my self-esteem, my self-respect, an opportunity to live a happier life. Not to mention the years of my life I lost waiting for better circumstances. Nothing changed until I was honest about what was actually happening. Fear was running my life, and I was calling it being practical, being hopeful that things would change for the better, but they didn't. And if this sounds like you, I want you to understand something. You're not stuck because you're incapable. You're stuck because fear could be running your life. That's it. Not a personality flaw, not a lack of discipline, not some missing quality you were born without. Just fear, sitting in the driver's seat of your life. The shift that changes everything isn't about becoming fearless. It's about changing who's in control. It's about learning to hear your own voice and trust it. Right now, fear might be shaping your identity. You may tell yourself, I'm not the type of person who takes risks. I always overthink. I'm bad at confrontation. I'm just behind. But those aren't fixed traits. They're patterns built around protection. The identity shift you need isn't dramatic. It's going from thoughts of, I'm stuck, to, I've been letting fear decide. From, I can't, to, I'm choosing not to because I'm afraid. And that awareness, that's clarity. Because once you see it, you can change it. You don't need to eliminate fear. You just need to stop letting it make your decisions. Here's something simple you can do. Identify one decision you've been avoiding. Just one. Maybe it's applying for something, having a conversation, ending something, starting something, setting a boundary, showing up differently. Write it down. Then write down what fear is telling you about it. Be honest with yourself. It could be things like, it will fail, they'll judge me, I'll look stupid, I'll lose security, I'm not ready. Get it out of your head and onto paper. Then ask yourself one question. What would I choose if I trusted myself? Not if I was guaranteed success, not if everyone approved, if I trusted myself. That question shifts you from fear-driven to doing what feels right. And maybe the action you take isn't massive. Maybe it's sending the email, speaking one honest sentence, taking one uncomfortable step. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be yours. Because the moment you act from trust instead of fear, even slightly, something changes internally. You stop reinforcing the identity of someone who stays small, and you start becoming someone who shows up. You're stronger than you realize. And the moment you start leaning into that strength, even slightly, your life starts shifting. Not all at once, not overnight, but in direction, in energy, in self-respect. You're not stuck. You've just been listening to fear for a long time. And you can decide today to listen to something else. You're allowed to build a life that feels aligned, but it starts by taking the wheel back and let fear take a back seat. If this resonated with you, I created a free Stop Choosing from Fear guide linked below to help you take your first steps. You don't need to overhaul your life. You just need to take one honest step. And I promise you, that's enough to begin.